Here at Scott Legal, we know the ins and outs of immigration. We are here to help you navigate the oftentimes complex road in achieving your immigration goals. We have new immigration videos every week. If you are new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button and bell. You can also sign up for one of our webinars, or get a free immigration guide, by clicking the link below. Many clients often inquire, what are the requirements for initial parole, under the International Entrepreneur Parole Rule? Stick around to find out. The Department of Homeland Security announced on May 10, 2021, that it has relaunched the International Entrepreneur Parole Program. The International Entrepreneur Parole Program promises to be a viable program for foreign entrepreneurs to create and develop startup entities with high growth potential in the United States. The International Entrepreneur Parole Rule establishes the United States Citizenship and Immigration Services Authority to grant parole status to international entrepreneurs, who can demonstrate that they would provide a significant public benefit to the United States. In order to receive parole under the International Entrepreneur Parole Rule, applicants must 1. Be a qualifying entrepreneur, 2. Have a qualifying startup, and 3. Receive a qualifying investment. We will cover each of these requirements in this video, along with examples of evidence an applicant might provide with their application to satisfy each. We will also discuss the alternative option that applies for those applicants that are not able to satisfy the third qualifying investment criterion. Please note that, per regulation, the applicable investment and revenue requirements are adjusted every 3 years.
What is a qualifying entrepreneur, and what evidence can I submit to show that I meet this requirement?
For the purposes of International Entrepreneur Parole, a qualifying entrepreneur 1. Possesses a substantial ownership interest in the startup entity. Ownership interest of at least 10% at the time of the initial grant of the benefit, and at least 5% ownership interest at the time of application for re-parole. 2. Has a central and active role in the startup entity such that they are well positioned to substantially assist with the growth and success of the business, and 3. Otherwise merits a favorable exercise of discretion. Evidence that can be included in the application to show the entrepreneur's ownership share includes organizational documents such as articles of organization or operating agreement, tax records, and financial records. Additional evidence to satisfy the qualifying entrepreneur requirement includes degrees or other evidence of the entrepreneur's knowledge, experience, or skill set, letters from government agencies, qualified investors, or business associations with specific knowledge of the startup or entrepreneur, press coverage, evidence of participation in a startup accelerator, or awards of patents the entrepreneur or startup has received.
What is a qualifying startup entity, and what evidence can I submit to show that my startup meets this requirement?
For the purposes of International Entrepreneur Parole, a qualifying startup entity must 1. Have been established in the United States, in the 5 years preceding the date when the applicant applies for the benefit, and 2. Show substantial and demonstrated potential for rapid business growth and job creation. In addition to organizational documents showing the date the business was formed, articles of organization or incorporation for example, the applicant may provide the following evidence to show the company's demonstrated potential for rapid business growth and job creation. Documentation showing the applicant's academic background, ability to advance the startup entity, or prior successful experience with operating a business and creating jobs. Evidence of the startup entity's selection to reputable startup accelerators or incubators, its national impact, scope, or social impact, and any positive effects on its locality or region. Corporate and/or tax records showing the number of customers, revenue generated by the startup, and/or jobs created by the startup. Evidence of additional investments or fundraising. Letters from government agencies, investors, or business associations with knowledge of the startup's products. Press coverage showing the entrepreneur or startup has received significant attention, or patent awards.
What is a qualifying investment, and what evidence can I submit to show that the investment my startup received meets this requirement?
For the purposes of International Entrepreneur Parole, qualifying investments must be either 1. A substantial level of capital investment of at least $264,147 from qualified United States investors. The United States venture firm must establish a successful record of investment, and be majority owned and controlled by United States citizens or green card holders, or 2. A substantial level of government funding of at least $105,659 in grants or awards from qualifying United States federal, state, or local government entities. 3. A qualified investment cannot include investment from the entrepreneur or their family, or an entity any of them own. Evidence that the investment funds are from a qualified investor can include government-issued proof of identity or organizational documents, and proof of majority ownership by United States citizens or permanent residents, evidence of past significant investments, including bank records, purchase agreements, tax and/or payroll records. Evidence that the investment amount is substantial can include copies of grants or award letters, bank records confirming receipt, documentation showing the trail and receipt of funds into the startup's bank account, if applicable, documents showing that the capital was used to purchase equity or other security.
I'm a qualifying entrepreneur with a qualifying startup, but I cannot fully satisfy the third requirement, that the startup must have received a qualifying investment. Is there any other way I might be approved?
Yes. Applicants who only partially satisfy this funding criterion can still be approved for the International Entrepreneur Parole, but must provide additional evidence of the startup entity's substantial potential for rapid growth and job creation, and submit other reliable and compelling evidence.
What specific evidence can be submitted to show that my startup has substantial potential for rapid growth and job creation?
Reliable and compelling evidence that the startup has substantial potential for rapid growth and job creation can include, but is not limited to, documentation showing the applicant's academic background, ability to advance the startup entity, or prior successful experience with operating a business and creating jobs. Evidence of the startup entity's selection to reputable startup accelerators or incubators, its national impact, scope, or social impact, and any positive effects on its locality or region. Corporate and/or tax records showing the number of customers, revenue generated by the startup, and/or jobs created by the startup. Evidence of additional investments or fundraising. Letters from government agencies, investors, or business associations with knowledge of the startup's products or services and/or the entrepreneur's skills. Press coverage showing the entrepreneur or startup has received significant attention and patent awards. To learn more, take a look at our resources in the description box below. You can also sign up for a free visa guide, any of our upcoming webinars, and Facebook groups. You can also schedule a consultation for a date and time that is best for you. We are here to help. You can contact us by calling 212-223-2964 or by sending us an email. We look forward to hearing from you.